This is introductory tutorial for SailIQ system that helps sailors and coaches improve their performance by providing analysis of your training sessions and races. You can find our service under address sailiq.io. If you are visiting the service for the first time, you need to register. You can do this by providing your email address and creating password, or, what is recommended, use your Google account. After you are logged into the system, you need to go to the dashboard. It is the place where you can manage all your data like races, trainings, boats. You can also manage your account from the dashboard. But for now, we will focus on managing sailing data. As you can see, my dashboard is empty. So let's start with creating the first event. The event can be considered as a set of racing days of regatta, set of trainings days, or similar. We can name our event however we like. Let's call it Test Event. We can also add a description, select the class, and set the start date. The start date is important because it determines how the event is organized by year and month in the menu. But don't worry, you can always change the start date later by editing the event. By the way, the data we're using here is real data collected during the A-Class World Championships. If you frequently analyze the performance of the same boats, it's a good idea to create what we call predefined boats. If the same set of boats is added to the system regularly, predefined boats can save time when creating events. In this example, I'll create two boats, POL 111 and POL 14. Both are A-class. So we have created the event, created two predefined boats. Now we need to add these boats to this newly created test event. You can add to the event as many boats as your plan allows. While currently I am on basic plan, I can add up to 3 boats to a single event. We have defined the event and the boats participating in it. As you can see, my test event is correctly placed in November 2025. Now we need to define a series. A series is a set of continuous races, training sessions, or similar activities. Typically, you turn on your Vaqueros or another data acquisition device when you go sailing and switch it off when you return. The races recorded during that time constitute a series. The data captured by Vaqueros for a single boat during that period is considered a boat session. It may seem a bit complicated at first, but I am confident that after you create 2 multi-day events, you will understand and appreciate the logic. Okay, so I've created a new series called 13, 11, 25. As you can see in the tree menu, a node called Session Bucket has been automatically created. You can now add sessions for the event participants, in our case, POL 1 and AUS 123. SailIQ supports all the most popular sailing data formats. A session can be a Vaqueros CSV or VKX file, a Sailmon CSV, a Velocitech VCC, a GPX file, or even a Voyager CSV. It's important to collect and store your boat sessions on your local device or on a network drive that you can access. So, I've imported the sessions for POL 111 and POL 14 and the data is now visualized on the map. As you can see, both datasets includes unneeded pre-start and post-race tracking. Let's trim it. Trimming is very easy. You can observe how the boat is moving and estimate, on the time axis, where the start and end of the valid races are. Select this time window and zoom in so that only the races track is visible. To trim the session, move the mouse pointer to the beginning of the selected window, press the F key to freeze the time on the chart, and click Start at Time. Then unfreeze the chart, click F once again, move the pointer to the end of the selected time frame, freeze the time by clicking F again, and click End at Time. Finally, click Trim Session. The session is now trimmed and contains only the relevant data. Let's do this for the other boat. We've added 2 boat sessions to the session bucket. Now it's time to split the series into individual races. In an ideal world, we would always have precise race start and end times. In theory, this data is available from Vaqueros. However, in practice, it can be difficult to rely on it, since sailors don't always set the start and end times correctly. So the rule for slicing races is simple. If you have accurate start and end times, use them and enter manually. If not, you can estimate them by analyzing the boat's movement direction and speed. Great, now let's slice our series into races. The first thing to do is to go through tracks and see how many races are contained in a series. According to what we saw doing session trimming, there are 2 races in this series. Similarly to trimming a session, you can zoom in on the time scale in the chart and select the desired time window. Use the F key to freeze and unfreeze the time on the chart, then click Start at Time and End at Time. Alternatively, if you have accurate race start and end times, you can enter them manually by using Start Time and End Time buttons. Once you entered starts and ends of all races, click the button Generate Races. As you can see in the left panel, races 1 and 2 in the 13, 11, 25 series have been created. Now we need to define the courses for these races. The first step is to set a reference wind direction. Once that's done, we can select one of the predefined courses. In our case, we'll choose upwind, downwind with a leeward gate, 3 laps, because we know that championships races in A-class typically have 3 laps. When the course is selected, the marks will appear on the map. In this version of the system, we need to adjust their positions manually by dragging them. Please note that, by default, we use separate marks for the race committee start and start pin, as well as for the race committee finish and finish pin. This is a universal approach that accounts for situations where the start line differs from the finish line. If, for example, a mark is moved or a new one is added during the race, you can add additional marks as needed. In this case, however, we'll use the predefined marks and segments. I will show you how to set new marks for changing course in the separate video. Okay, now I'll carefully adjust the positions of the marks so they match the race course as closely as possible. Okay, it looks like all the marks are set correctly. We can see that all boats pass the marks and gates as expected, so everything is ready to save the course for this race. Let's do it. The race is now saved, so we can start analyzing it and see how the boats performed. Click the Analyze button in the race menu to view the results. Everything looks correct. It's important to review the data in the table and check whether the distances sailed by each boat are similar. If they differ significantly, it's usually caused by inaccurate mark placement or an incorrect wind direction. In future versions of the system, we plan to improve this process and introduce more automation to reduce sensitivity to such inaccuracies. In this case, everything was set up correctly and we can start analyzing the performance of POL 14 and POL 111. I've created the course for Race 1. Now let's do the same for Race 2. To speed up the process, we can use the Reuse Course button. This feature imports the mark positions from another race within the same series. As you can see, the marks are already very close to their correct positions and only require minor adjustments. Just like with Race 1, we can now save the course and check if everything has been set correctly by clicking Analyze button for this race.